The best depiction of what hell truly is a movie called Hellrazor, wonderful Clive Barker film. I'll tell you why. First, I want to say there is no hell or heaven in a literal fashion. These are metaphors for human states, okay, that we can experience right now, in the present moment. Heaven is eternal, according to the Bible. If one dies, one goes up to heaven and stays there, right, for eternity, except eternity is something that has no beginning and no end. The only way to be in heaven is to have been there forever already and to be there for all of eternity. If one's time in heaven has a beginning, that means heaven is not an eternal state, and therefore it doesn't exist. Neither does hell, presumably then, because hell supposedly is a place you go for all eternity as well. So you're here right now. Obviously you're not in a literal heaven or hell. Therefore, by definition of the Bible, you are not there for eternity. You're here right now. That means you are not in heaven or hell for eternity. Therefore, they are not eternal. And either the Bible's wrong or they don't exist. I assume they don't exist because nothing spiritual can be experienced by the experiencing mechanism. Okay? The experiencing mechanism is here. It's physical. Spiritual means, by definition, something that's not physical. Spiro means the breath of air. It's intangible. It's nebulous. We experience things with the physical experiencing mechanism. Once the experiencing mechanism stops, we go beyond duality. We neither are nor are not. Now, the reason Clive Barker's creation, based on the book The Hellbound Heart, is so wonderful is because it's about a number of people who are seeking. They are seekers. They are seekers of novelty and of pleasure. This is what they go out seeking. And they find it. But it's quite different from what they had envisioned it to be. They find the cube, the black cube, the puzzle box. The black cube, as you know, is the Mecca, the Saturn, Earth, Satan cube. It's also the cube of the Rosicross. The Rosicross is a cube. It's an unfolded cube. It represents the manifestation of the universe. With the fall of man from the unmanifest into the manifest. And it also represents the macrocosm and microcosm. Man and the universe. Now, when they open this puzzle box, in the way that the Rosicross opens, they experience the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows. Only a much worse version, because they are full of passions and the attachment and repulsion that comes with manifesting without knowing the truth, basically about reality, without knowing impermanence. You become a clinger, sentimental, you hold on, you are not in accordance, in resonance with the way that reality is disposable, is changeable rather. Always changing, always flowing, it's fluid. And Buddhists say, like I said, that impermanence, suffering, and non-self are the characteristics of this reality. So these people go and seek the puzzle box, and they seek to open it. They open it, with their personalities of impermanence, suffering, and not self, because of their unwillingness to acknowledge, let's say, impermanence, suffering, and not self. They believe things to be permanent, to be pleasurable. They believe they can seek it out. And when they find it, it opens up the portal to, let's call it heaven/hell, because it's one place. They're both the same place. They are the extremes. I talked about the steady state of death or nirvana and the dynamic state the state that we're in, that goes up and down. Some people who are, let's say it's the seekers, before they learn, people like myself, we seek out the extremes because we believe this is the best place. And in a way, it can be a very enlightening thing, but it's going to cause you far more suffering. So you might, if you have pleasure, for example, you might have less pain, but you're going to have more suffering. It's inevitable. So instead of just the casual ups and downs of life, they have drastic ups and downs. In this portal, these creatures, the Cenobites, come through. These are creatures who are obviously racked with agony. Their skin is torn open. They're in bondage outfits. They're obviously sadistic and masochistic. And the reason why the imagery has to do with bondage, sadomasochism, dominance, and submission is because this is the state, for example, where sexuality becomes, let's say, I don't want to say perverted necessarily, but it becomes extreme, where the person is now seeking for more sensation. And in doing so, they're enhancing their own suffering in many ways. Some people are comfortable with that. They want the extremes. They seek them out. And these creatures who have gone through this portal, they used to be human. Now, they're warped. There is nothing left of them. They're shattered creatures. There's very little left of their bodies, their minds, their souls, if they have had one originally. Certainly they have no emotion to speak of. And so the individuals who open this portal obviously are horrified at what comes out of it. They weren't expecting it because they didn't understand the truth about this reality. As soon as the portal opens up, generally their bodies are torn apart by hooks and blades, chains, all of these types of things. This represents the bondage, of continuing to seek, of attachment, of being unwilling to get rid of, unload the burdens of one's life, the fixation that people have, that we have on controlling our world, controlling our lives, not understanding that none of it's under control. Again, that's the theme of bondage, domination, submission, etc. This is about control. So, trying to control the pain and the pleasure, giving oneself over to torture, to extremes. And as soon as these people opened the portal, they realized they were looking for pleasure. They found pain and pleasure. They found both. And in fact, they are one. The chief Cenobite, Pinhead, he says, if I can remember it word for word, when asked who he is, he says, "We are explorers on the furthest reaches of experience, angels to some, demons to others." That is the most perfect way of summarizing the search, the seeking, whether it is for pleasure physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. When you find pleasure, you will find pain as well. To some, they are saviors. To others, they are demons. To some, they came from heaven. To others, they came from hell. Because at this extremely high vibratory frequency, pain and pleasure are both raw energy. And that energy torments the person who experiences it. It is hell. That is what hell is. It's pleasurable, it's painful, it's all sensations in one. It's a departure from peace and contentment. It's a seeking of stimulus. It is the continued rising and falling, the rebirth, the round of rebirth in samsara. This is what is meant by it. Because at the highest level, the pain and the pleasure are one energy that departs and takes one away, let's say, from homeostasis, from the peaceful, contented, natural state that we live in. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't go out and experience some pain and some pleasure. In fact, it might be difficult to become realized without it. When I say realized, I just mean to realize the nature that you already have, the nature of everything, without experiencing the ups and downs of reality, without experiencing the painful moments and the pleasurable moments, and then feeling the energy of them, looking deeply into the energy of them. There was a sage named Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, and one of his disciples, Stephen Walensky, I think is his name. He has a great book on here that you can look up. It's called Waking from Trance. And in that book he talks about something called quantum psychology, which comes out of the Gestalt schools of the 60s and 70s, where one looks into the energy of the body in a way that was inspired by the meditations of Sri Nisargadatta. And it's very similar to some of the stuff I started out doing in Vipassana. One focuses or feels a painful moment, or a moment of jealousy, hatred, etc. One feels where it is in the body. One acknowledges it completely without trying to change it at all, without even trying to say or trying to make a deal where one says, I will accept you, pain, as long as you go away first, or thinking that if in some way I acknowledge this, that it will diminish it eventually if I understand, or give me peace. There's no expectation whatsoever. One looks into the pain. One looks simply out of curiosity, simply to experience what is there, and to say, okay, pain, I'm here. I'm standing firm. I'm here to look and see what you are. Because the pain wants you to be at peace with it, not to fix it. It wants to be felt. It doesn't want to be fixed. And when one stands in the presence of that pain, or that pleasure, or that sexuality, one feels the energy. When one drops the language, one feels that, and realizes really they're all the same. The only difference is the way that the body reacts to it, and the way then that your preconceptions, your genetics, learning, imprinting, conditioning, react to it. Okay? They're actually the same. They're the same energy, at least. They're all the same energy. Everything is the same energy. The body works on energy. But, as I said in the previous video, there are frequencies or levels at which the body perceives these things and then interprets them according to your experiences, genetics, learning, imprinting, conditioning. It tells you, is this going to take me out of my homeostasis? Is this good or bad, etc.? Do I want more or do I want less? Okay. So, that really is my summary. I could go on, but I think it's best to keep it simple. These are all things that are really beyond words. And I'm trying to express the inexpressible and speak the unspeakable to you in ways that point to it, to something for you. But there's not any particular goal. I don't really understand what I'm going to say beforehand. I just kind of go at it and hope I can stay on topic and not say and too much. So, there you go. Okay, that's it for now. Pain and pleasure, they are one. Intellect, emotion, physicality, sexuality, and essence. All one. That's your Vedanta for the day.